Hello! I want to open this video saying that I will upload one video per month. This is kinda funny because I was talking with one of my friends about the feedback on my previous video. He told me that he understood the video in general, but he loved the empty promises because he used to do the same thing back when he was in like doing a YouTube channel, and this video is a way of telling him that many years ago we were kids, but now I have the consistency and grit to make something. Now, back to the main point, that it was about the monthly upload. I decided this because the actual recollection of footage and my own ability to finish the project would get in the way. So that meant that there's a possibility to not upload any video for the next 6 months or so. And this is no good for a channel who is trying to do content. So I decided to do a summary of what has happened in the whole month. This will also give me a chance to keep improving my editing skills and scripting abilities. Since my mind is also kind of fixed in some details, I'll start working on the next script right away, but I'm going to start editing the video one day before the end of the month, so that I can upload the video on the 1st of the next month. Not with this video though, because the final delivery is looming over and I need to keep working on all things, but this is a project, but this is applicable for the next project, Black Ops 4, to onwards. Also, you guys are free to write anything in the comment section. I know that only 10 people saw my previous video. Oh, I also saw that I got 30 views in total, so yeah, the view count went up. But yeah, so most of these views were my friends, but I also want to get to know for those who are not my friends. I want to get to know to the public that watches my videos, my 20-minute or longer videos. And with all of this out of the way, you can... Oh, excuse me. Yeah? I need to get dressed for the occasion. As I explained on my previous video, I wanted to open the vast majority of waypoints. Not all waypoints, because some of them required making some puzzles or basically advancing into the story to get access, but since I wasn't going to advance into the story nor do some puzzles, I decided to let them be. When I reached the point to keep going with the story, I would go and open them, but yeah, nonetheless, even like I didn't open all waypoints, it was still a very fun experience nonetheless. So Genshin is a game that I really enjoyed when I played it for the first time in the version 1.1, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, I can see the exact date when I started playing. I just need to see that and cross-reference the time when I acquired Amber on my team. Now I need to select the cross-reference and what time like a version came out. And basically, I got Amber on what the if I'm not mistaken. Oh, so the date is it's month, day, year, but I rewritten it as day, month, year as it's intended to be. So if I'm not mistaken, this reads as 4 of November. Okay, so this is it. Sorry, I don't know the number of the month. I need to count from scratch to know what number of the month is. So this is the 4th of November of 2020, and if I'm not mistaken, the event 1.1 that I mentioned earlier released on the 11th of November of 2020. So technically speaking, I started playing on the 1.0, and then the 1.1 event rolled out like 7 days later. Yeah, it's because 7 plus 3 is 10 plus 1 is 4, that's 11. Yeah, okay. Really weird way to do math. But yeah, so with all of this out of the way, now I'll talk about this type of experience, which is the map exploration. Naturally, you'll need to know where the waypoints are in order for you to open them, but there's a problem. Your map has a dark area, only shows one point. This point right here is called an Archon Tower. But I briefly researched about this topic, and the correct way to call this quote-unquote waypoint is a statue of the Seven. Well, that appears to be more or less the in-world name. So the first step is to go directly to the Archon Tower and activate it. If you have the Traveler in your team, then a special option will appear since you have the ability to absorb the elemental power from these towers, but I really like the Anemo Traveler, so I don't know why I keep interacting the towers with him. But yeah, once this tower is activated, the map will be revealed. Hence, you'll know since what? Hence, hence you'll now have all the visible waypoints location. One last thing to mention regarding the map exploration specifics. One last thing to mention regarding the map exploration specifics is that when you are in your way to an Archon Tower or just exploring the map, it may happen that the waypoint will be there nearby, so your UI will update with the waypoint icon in the general direction of where it is. I think this is a clever design for rewarding players who are exploring the map. I believe this icon even appears if you have the Archon Tower already activated. Also, I'm writing this after I finished this paragraph specific, but I forgot to talk about my team. This is a very small incision, but my team was composed by the Anemo Traveler, Lynette, got the Anemo bonus for higher movement speed, then Dehia? I don't know, to get more movement speed during the day, and Kaya to get the stamina decrease bonus. Now for the different regions, we got Sumeru, the desert, which is, I think it's still Liyue, I think, Fontaine, Natlan, and Inazuma. So we'll start by Sumeru. So Sumeru is the jungle of Genshin, has very tall trees and a lot of flora or vegetation. Since my main mission was to open all waypoints, I didn't fought any of the enemies in those areas, but I can tell that the method of travel, those teleportation thingies hanging around in the air, really helped the travel time. I think this was one of an issue, so that's why the developers put it in. The developers implemented it. That sounds better. And yeah, that's about Sumeru. Nothing much to say. So the desert. I believe this is a part of Liyue, as I mentioned before, but this is now in the script. But it is a very good addition to the game. I think this is the very first area they included that wasn't part of the base game when they first released. Novel enemies and very desert-like areas with the giant pyramids somewhere in there. And I also like the Zan's physics they applied. It is very cool. I'd like to say one last thing, and that's the fact that we have a ginormous Rune Guardian, and it's activated with... And this giant structure activated a little bit of my megalophobia I got left. I say this because in order to be a phobia, I need to be genuinely afraid, but I just feel like a little bit of fear and butterflies in my stomach, so nothing too severe of being a phobia, to be honest. Next up, we got Fontaine. This is my second favorite area in the whole game, just because of one feature, and that is the ability to swim without drowning. When I first started playing Genshin, the fact that you can drown was an unusual thing for me, but yeah, I took my precautions towards it. As soon as I got the hint that I could dive, I took every opportunity to be underwater, because I really like to swim in real life, so this was like a dream come true, to be honest. Also, blue is my favorite color, but I really love the aquatic thematic this area gives to the players, and it had a lot of mechanics that I didn't explore because they weren't necessary for me to do, or they weren't necessary for me to know in order to accomplish my mission. Next up, Natlan. This is my favorite region in all the game. It had like Grand Canyon vibes and it was good and all, but that didn't have the power to beat Fontaine for me. But it was the ability to transform into multiple beasts. And now I say I'm sorry for all Genshin enjoyers, but I don't really know the in-world name of these creatures, and my favorite one is the Saurian, I think it's called. just for this sole reason.
Did you pray today? Did you pray today? Cause
No,
if you didn't, I'ma have to dig you down on some gangster shit.
Also, the second best thing that the Zorian was... What? Also, the second best thing of the Zorian was the ability to run very fast or to bury myself and move very fast. Yeah, this one is better because you walk so slow on land. When you dive in land, you move faster. I also like this ability because it lets you hop on the walls and no matter the angle you can surpass it. It is, all in all, a really good addition to the game. Also, the ability to jump when on diving mode is very comical for me. Also, if you're walking and then you jump from a very high mountain and then you attack the air like a Gragas E in League of Legends. I don't know why I made that comparison, but yeah. Apparently that grants some iframes or invincibility frames to not get any fall damage in this. To not get any fall damage. The same is as if you're gliding and let go and then do a plunge attack. Even if you're in dive mode, your resistance to fall damage is very high. Now there are many other creatures, but the Zarian one, I should probably explain this part a little bit, but I think my addition will kind of save it. I hope. I'm gonna keep this in. I am the one making the video, so I don't care. Okay, and lastly we got Inazuma. So, with Inazuma was the first area that I explored, but this is the last area I finished because I forgot it existed. I was condemned to use the Traveler and Kaya to traverse between islands, and very later on, I got ruthlessly. I don't know how to say it in English. But yeah, my suffering was very big because it took me quite a long time to discover that there is a thing called a wave rider that grants me a boat. So yeah, that made me laugh, to be honest. So now with the final part, well, not the final part, but we're getting there. So we are almost up. I want to dedicate the space for my suffering with discovering with Inazuma Island, because I used Kaya and the Traveler, and I remember vividly on my last two videos that I was trying to reach an island and died like 3 times trying to get there. I don't remember if I discovered the Wave Rider to get there or if I did it with patience. I actually need to rewatch the VOD, but the footage will appear on the video. To be fair, this should have... Now, for the next topic, man, I should really upgrade my my scripting abilities. This script is it's interesting. Okay, so to be fair, this part right here should have a video of its own, and to be honest, I don't know how to talk about this topic. Of course, I'm talking about the other aspect of Genshin, the level up weapons, talents, characters, but I want to know your opinion in this topic. For those who wants me to discuss this topic in a more technical thing, put it down in the comments below, and wait for my response next month. Either way, in the release of the next project or in the checkpoints of the project, I will discuss there what you guys want to see and what I can do about what you want, express my opinion, and ultimately do it or get a compromise solution. I feel that this is a very well done part of the game. They provided good challenges to the player, and the playstyle might vary from player to player, but given the freak that I am, and it wasn't so easy for me. I needed to kill level 80 monster with level 60 characters, and I only had at that time a maxed out 1-star level bow, a max level 1-star bow, and I managed to persevere and adjust to the attack patterns. I also played against mostly the 2 bosses. There were the Storm Terror and and Boreas. Well, I only say two because I only needed two drops to level up talents. But Boreas is way more difficult than any other boss for me because my strongest characters being the combination of Kaya and the Traveler was completely negated. I used Kaya to initiate and then get the cryo status and then I used the Anemo Traveler's E to inflict great damage and finish off with full melee combo to proc the ability that finishes with an Anemo Slash to get much more damage off. This is my sole trick damage, and the Boreas is immune to both Cryo and Anemo, so I had to change tactics. Amber was way too weak, basically useless. Noelle is tanky, but at that time I didn't have the necessary stats to make her good. Also, it was very good that she's a healer, so that I won't lose too quickly on my early game, but I lost to Boreas like 3 times in a row, and then I didn't have the damage nor the resistance to fight him, but ultimately I had to fight in order to level up Kaya's talent, so yeah, at that time I was able to win, like probably 2 months later. Now for the real final part, the conclusion. I really like this project and I managed to complete it. First, I would like to point out that Genshin is not a game for anyone. I think that you need to like first a certain aspect of the genre to get invested, and I'm nobody the talking. I am a nobody talking about recommendations for games, but at least for me, I really enjoyed this game. Keep going, keep going with my journey to little by little to max out everything in the game. I like the stunning views and the different feelings for the game environments, the different enemies, and most of all, the story that I neglected at this time. But the moment will arrive when I'll play the story again. With nothing further to say, this has been me, the one who's speaking to you, and I will see you next month with my journey on doing the Voyage of Despair Easter egg on solo.